100 days into the war with Iran, President Trump is now facing new complications in the Middle East. Overnight, Israel and Tehran began trading attacks, sparking fears of a return to full combat in the region. The IDF says it hit targets at a petrochemical plant in Iran, and this is after Iranian missiles were fired at Israel. Tehran's attack was in response to Israel's strikes near Beirut Sunday. Mr. Trump condemned the fighting in a Truth Social post this morning, calling on nations to stop immediately. In an interview taped before the attacks, he insisted once again a deal is close with Iran and denied this is becoming an endless war.
I'm going to do it either through negotiation, where we're very close to a deal, or I'm going to blow the hell out of them, to be honest with you. And it's going to be very easy for me to do. That's actually the easier path. So when you say I promised, I didn't promise anything. I don't like these endless wars. This is not an endless war.
CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us now from Bedminster, New Jersey. She is there traveling with the president. Olivia, good morning. How are these recent strikes complicating the U.S. effort for a peace deal?
Well, good morning, Errol. It's good to be with you. These recent strikes pose the biggest threat to those U.S.-Iran negotiations that we have seen thus far. Just to put it in perspective, these strikes that have been traded between Israel and Iran are the most significant action we have seen since April 8th. That is when the ceasefire went into effect. And there is a possibility that these strikes and these issues between Iran and Israel could become a more prolonged, protracted war. That is what sources have said this morning to the Israeli military, that there is a possibility that this could continue for several days. And this, of course, is after President Trump had told Netanyahu yesterday, asking Israel not to retaliate against Iran because he is desperately trying to keep this ceasefire in place, trying to get a deal reached between these two countries. Even this morning, President Trump on Truth Social wrote that both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire. Final negotiations on peace are proceeding, subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in its way. The blockade will remain in place and in full force and effect until a final deal is reached. Things should move quickly. It's that part there, though, about stupidity, where you can kind of hear the president's frustration, especially after he spoke to Netanyahu and asked for strikes not to continue, for retaliation not to continue, because he is trying to get this deal reached. Yesterday, he did tell NBC News in an interview that was taped on Friday that he is hopeful that a final deal is close, that it will get reached, but that may be wishful thinking at this point, just given the fact that there is a potential for this conflict between Israel and Iran to spill out into further prolonged conflict and even spill into a further regional war. Errol.
All right, Olivia Rinaldi kicking off our coverage in New Jersey. Olivia, thank you. We jump now to CBS News Middle East contributor Courtney Kealy, who is in Washington. Courtney, good morning. So we heard there from Olivia just how frustrated the president appears to be. Help us understand how the conflict between Israel and Iran really has complicated the U.S. effort to get a ceasefire with Iran.
Well, we saw this really start in southern Lebanon with the U.S. president saying, don't hit the Beirut suburbs, Hezbollah stronghold. And Hezbollah and Israel started exchanging fire across the border, and then Iran got into it. And then Iran started launching missiles towards northern Israel, as opposed to Hezbollah from southern Lebanon or from the southern suburbs. So this is really Iran saying to Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, if you hit the southern suburbs, the Hezbollah stronghold, we will retaliate from Iran into Israel. So now it's, waking up on a Monday morning, there's a whiplash of who started it, how is it going, and where are we now? And where we are now is the Houthis, another proxy, a smaller proxy of Iran, is starting to get engaged again, involved, and shot at least 2 missiles, according to recent reports, towards Israel, threatening to shut down the Red Sea. So we have the Strait of Hormuz on the Iran-Oman border, and now a big worry has always been that the Houthis would start getting involved and shut down the waterway of the Red Sea, and we're keeping, and I am keeping a close eye on that. So will President Trump prevail and have everyone cease their fire, or are we going to see more going back and forth of missiles and deadly fire, it mostly intercepted, but still raining on cities in Iran and hitting cities, Haifa, for instance, targeting cities like Haifa north of Tel Aviv.
And the AP is reporting President Trump essentially told Prime Minister Netanyahu not to strike Iran after it attacked them. So are we witnessing the U.S. really losing control of this war, which could have been predicted considering the Iranian affiliate groups of the Houthis and Hezbollah that would have retaliated?
Right. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not only trying to keep security or reestablish the security in northern Israel that was lost after October 7th on October 8th of 2023 when Hezbollah started launching attacks. Then we saw new attacks after the killing of the Grand Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei in the beginning of March. So while President Trump has said, I hold the cards, or everyone needs to listen to me, this really shows the strength and the issues that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has with his own country, with his own domestic audience, about keeping the northern border safe for Israelis. And it does seem like this decade-long issue with Hezbollah at the border and in the south, which started back in 1982. So these are long-held grievances, and these are big issues. And these borders, as I've said to you before, I've been to all the borders on northern Israel and southern Lebanon, and in due time, and you can see with the naked eye both sides. This isn't abstract. This isn't like there's a demarcation line of 20 miles. This is like looking in to the neighbors and just realizing you're looking at Israel, or from Israel you're looking into southern Lebanon, where Hezbollah came up to the border after Israel withdrew 26 years ago. So this is something Prime Minister Netanyahu has dealt with in his long leadership, as something that he does when he feels necessary to do it for Israel. And he clearly chooses often not to listen to President Trump if he feels like Israel's security at risk.
Right, and Israelis certainly feeling under attack and under threat throughout. Courtney Kealy in Washington with that context. Courtney, thank you.